What's up, silver degenerates? This is Silver Rupa here, and you can see I have my 2025 10 kilo maple on here. Extremely rare coin. I'd like to talk about this a little bit because I have learned some pretty cool things about this. So this actually came out in February of 2025. And so February of 2025 was the pre-order and actually got shipped, I believe it was around September. So September, the original mintage on this was quite a bit. For 10 kilo, the mintage was 299 coins. But as you know, this had an insanely high premium. So it was about 25,000 Canadian. In total, it was about 17.8 USD plus shipping and everything. And then, so at that time, silver was running about $30 an ounce, I believe. I believe it was around $30 an ounce. And then when these came out, I believe it was around September. The people that pre-ordered it came with a surprise. It was actually a $6,800 tariff. So I think a lot of people canceled their orders at that time. Probably not everybody, because I think some retailers didn't have that tariff there. But if you did order straight from the mint or from Canada for a Canadian retailer like I did, there was a tariff. I mean, I was able to get out of mine. I kind of finagled getting out of it, because all the tariff rules were all just it was so new, and no one really knew anything. And even after doing a bunch of research, even calling the custom guys, they didn't really know either. So it was kind of like a gray area. So after a little bit of back and forth, I was able to get it waived. So anyway, the thing I wanted to talk about this. So at that time, that was an insanely amount of money for a 10 kilo silver. Perth Mint was selling their 10 kilos for around 12,000. Maybe at the time, maybe it was 15,000, but it was 12 to 15. At the highest 15. So usually the average was around 12,000. So to charge 18 grand for a 10 kilo was insanely high. It was insanely high premium. So I believe it was around $8,000 or $9,000 premium. Before even getting to the silver, it was 8,000 or 9,000. So, people got the pre-orders. APMEX got some bullion exchanges. And if you notice, they just sat on the market for the longest time. They just sat there. So I was checking APMEX and it just wasn't selling. It was too expensive. And I know some other retailers that bought into these, they were trying to get rid of them as quick as possible. It's just because it was such a high premium. So they just sat on the market, sat on the market, sat on the market. Here comes around November, and I think, this is my theory, but I'm still working on it. I think when they make these, they make them in phases. So I don't think they make all 299 at once. They sell their allotment, and then they gradually make them and sell them. Especially for big products like this that take a long time to make, that they will just release them gradually. So they'll go in phases. So in that first phase, when it first came out, all those coins on the market weren't selling. No one were buying them except for degenerates like me that were overpaying for stuff like this. And I personally think that they canceled the following phases. It was coming to the end of the year into 2026, and I think they canceled it because they were just sitting on the market. Why would they make more if they're not selling? And I think a lot of retailers were scared to buy this because the premiums was so high. And especially they were seeing that they were on APMEX, they were on Bullion Exchange, and it wasn't selling. So who's going to buy a product and have it sit on their shelves and risk, if silver goes down, losing all that money? And you're probably going to sit on this for the longest time. So in my opinion, I think I actually believe the mintage on this is below 20. And the reason I say that, because the original people that bought them, from the Mint, Canadian Coin and Currency, and Amex Bullion Exchanges. And as far as I know, I think Bullion Star had one. Those are the only ones I've seen on the market. And ever since then, I check all the retailers all the time to see, and I have notifications on to see if new ones coming on the market. There's 3 or 4 on eBay, and those are the only ones that have shown up on eBay. So uh, silver has taken a huge skyrocket recently. It went to $120 last week. And even at that price, you're making huge profits on this. And just to let you know, I had mine on eBay. I've had offers for 40,000, uh, 45,000. I think I've had about 4 or 5 at 40. I've had 45,000. I had one at 50,000 and one at 52,000. And I still will not accept that. And people say that's an insane price, and that's just just lame. They don't even believe me when I got those offers. But I have got those offers, but people expect to get this at spot price, which is insane. And I get pretty nasty emails like, they're not even asking questions about it. They're saying, the only people that are going to buy this are going to buy it at spot, which is BS because I've gotten so many offers on this. And my most recent offer was from a guy in Texas that wanted to trade this plus a monster box, one of my maple that's basically we're going to do a trade for trade. So it'd be about a monster box and this for a 2018 Dodge Demon with 0 miles. And basically the last one that sold at auction that was brand new like that with no miles was at $260,000 at the Mecum auctions. So that was tempting. But I don't really have the time, and I have to put in all the research to getting the car transferred. I have to get it shipped, and I have to get it then shipped to the auction and all that. So I guess that offer is still in the air, but I haven't really delved into it. I really need someone that knows how to do all that stuff, but I just don't have the time. I really want to do it. That'd be pretty exciting if I could make $100,000 profit just on a weekend's worth of work. But anyway, this is special. It's a special coin, and like I said, I haven't seen any come on the market. I haven't seen any get listed on any retailer anywhere in the world that's online that came out with this. So I honestly think they made the first batch of this and they were shipped out, and that's all they made. Because that initial first batch, it wasn't like everyone wanted it and it was sold out in 10 minutes. These were on the market for months and no one was buying them. So that's my opinion. I've been sending some message to the Royal Canadian Mint and I haven't got responses. And I don't know if that's anything that they would actually tell me. But I reached out to Canadian Coin and Currency actually yesterday. I know they have a close relationship to see if they can find out what the actual mintage on this is, because I really want to know. I want to know what the mintage is on this, and I think my personal opinion that it's less than 20 coins. So, and then of course, we went through the in Germany, the World's Money Fair, and RCM didn't have another 10 kilos. So I don't think they're going to make this an annual release or anything, but I wouldn't be surprised in the future if they make a 10 kilo, but I don't think it'll be the same one as this. So this was a big failure when RCM came out with this. And I think timing was a really a big part of it and I think the price was the premium was insanely high. It was almost the same price as the silver. The premium was the same price as the silver. So you're paying half for silver, half for premium. That was insane. But now that silver went up, everyone wants it. So I think I think the price was a little too high at the time, and I think if they came out recently with this in January, when prices are going up, it would actually sold a lot easier. Of course, because but at the time, no one wanted this. Nobody wanted it. So only degenerates, silver degenerates bought these, and I happen to be one of those. So I'm glad I have it, and I'm not going to give it up for cheap. So like I said, 6,800 tariff. I mean, I know I weaseled out of it, but everyone else had to pay that. And, silver has gone up. And then you have a 28% capital gains tax that's going to get reported on this. If you sell it on eBay, that's a 13% fee on that. PayPal payment, 3%. I mean, even at 50K, that's almost nothing. So if I'm selling this, it's probably going to have to be in the 60s, mid 60s, high 60s. And even at that, I'm kind of reluctant to sell this. So people may think I'm crazy, but I honestly think that this is worth over 100,000. It's too early to tell because it kind of just came out and we don't know much about it. And you can't really price something that hasn't really bought and sold. So we'll just have to hold on to it and wait and see. In regards to the Dodge Demon deal, it's still there and it's very tempting. But, with the way silver is going, this may supersede that Dodge Demon. You just never know. You just never know. So we'll see what happens with silver. Shanghai is running at 126 and we're running at 84 today, which does not make sense. And we all know it wasn't, that big drop was not because of the Fed share. This was just straight manipulation. That's the only thing that could make silver go down that much. Paper contracts, manipulation. It's just thievery. If you ask me, they're the biggest thieves in the world because how many trillions of dollars were lost, because of that. And the true silver price wouldn't do that. If it was based on physical silver only, we would not have a drop like that. We may have little corrections, but for the most part, it should stay pretty stable. So anyway, I'm still investigating this. I'm trying to find the truth, and hopefully I'll find the truth, and we'll find what the real mintage is. And just imagine if the mintage on this is really less than 20, or even less than 30, or less than 50, the value on this is going to be insane. So, and as it stands now, I don't think RCM is going to come out with this again, or maybe not even anytime soon. But if you know they're big coins, they're 5 kilos, and the stuff they come out with, they're super inclusives. They never make it twice year after year after year. If they do come out with it again, it's different. So like say the super incuse was a silver super incuse kilo. And then 3 years later, they came out with another one, but it wasn't the same. It was actually gold. It was gold and silver. Had a reeded edge. It had a field. It was a different coin. So for the most part. So I've always said if they came out with a super incuse 10 kilo, I would be all over it. Even if it was 50 G's, I would be all over it because that's probably one of my favorite coins. We'll see what they do in the future with these. But as it stands now with the silver shortage, it's kind of seeming more unlikely. So anyway, we're going to leave it at that. And if I come out with any update on this, I'm kind of contacting this people on eBay that actually have this to get their mintage. I'm kind of making a little registry. And I'm trying to find out how many of these there really are. So, and I know there's not $2.99. I mean, at today's prices, you would have seen these flooded on eBay with the amount of profits you would be able to secure with this. So, and I haven't seen one come up since release. Anyway, thanks for watching, and please join me next time. And Silver Rupa out.